In this tutorial, I'd like to talk about a new generation Topcoat. Up until this point, OEMs and MROs manufacturing and refinishing airplanes, light airplanes, GA, commercial, and rotorcraft, of course. I've got two options. You have a single stage and we have a base clear. Both systems are valid. Depends what you're wanting to do, your expectations. Colors, of course, color space. We're very proud to launch a new generation of Topcoat called 858. This actually is a hybrid of both of these systems. The first one is, this is solid color full gloss. It's a single stage. Then it can be converted into a base coat, clear coat system. We all know that single stage materials can be clear coated. The limitations are that you have to apply the clear before dry to tape or shortly afterwards, and it limits you to one particular color. With this 858, if you determine that you want a base coat, clear coat system, then you have a 3-day privilege before you need to sand this material. The benefits, of course, let's take an example. You have a very plain Jane scheme, you have a white airplane, registration number, a couple of stripes. You should be able to install these over the 858 with no sanding within 3 days if your process allows. What that gives you is labor time, of course, sanding time, contamination, debris, eliminates all of that. On a split base, you can also apply our effect line, which is the 850 effect line, on top of this material. Of course, it will be repainted with itself if it's another solid color. Supplied from launch with 3 activators and a kicker. If you look at the data sheet, we spent a lot of time on this. We've given instruction how you can blend the activators. So out of the 3, it's infinite. And the reason we do that is that we know, depending on environment, the size of area, airflow, that an activator may not fit. So what we do, we give instruction how to blend. So you can make this very personalized. You can make it work for you. We also have a kicker. This is for smart repairs, registration numbers, etc., etc. Very quick dry and useful for the very small areas. On the clear coat side, you have 3 days. You can apply any aerospace clear coat on top of this material. We all know that refinishers have their own blend. They can mix and match. They have their special primers. They have their special clear coats, which they prefer and like. So this may be overcoated with any clear coat system. So let's look at the advantages of this. This performs really well as a single stage. Good color fastness, fluids, gloss retention, a great hang on rivets, picture framing, resisting picture framing, and it repairs well in service too. So it begs the question on certain airplanes, why would I clear this at all? Because it gets such good performance in a single stage. If we were applying this split base where you have an effect belly, you could just clear coat the effect side of business, or again wrap the whole unit. So this 3-day privilege is actually vital to the paint shop. With process changes, it enables you to continually mask off and apply this material within that 3 days to compress time for just an efficient application. So the important thing, equipment, do we have any limitations, any certain requests that you use on this material? Use whatever you have in the shop. This has been tested to conventional air spray, HVLP, compliant. We don't require you to change any of your processes, no equipment. The fluid tips, the air caps, just run it as normal. Typically 2 to 3 coats, depending on the color, of course. What we do recommend, which is universally known, is that with any Topcoat system, you apply this over a common ground coat system. For example, a grayscale 858, a gray primer. You get color quicker, truer color, and you get better in-service repairability. So make it the background to this a single common color. So after all this being said, we're going to be mixing, and I'm going to be applying this in the paint shop. You'll see these are application, the fit and the finish, great hider. And we're going to be using one of these 3 activators in this case. And we're going to show you the actual wet film and how it looks. So we'll see you in the paint shop. So we're in the paint shop. This could be an aircraft, this could be panel work like this, like what you see here. Could be components. The 858 in this case, that could be overcoated with any primer, of course, surfacer. It could be a standard top coat. It doesn't really make a difference. In this case, it's 1 coat of primer on these training foils. First thing we always do is, for testing purposes, is put a Lunetta card on here, and then we wash it down. We're using 110-158. It's a wipe-on, wipe-off process. Although it's been clean and it's in a spray booth area, it's been drying overnight, so we always wash down prior to application. So when we come to tacking, sometimes it's misunderstood. This is treated like a Scotch-Brite. The tacking is a very light pressure on the surface in crosshatch, up and down, side-by-side motions. And this picks up any possible debris. What I generally do as well is the adjacent paper, if you haven't changed it, of course. If this is painted paper, give the whole thing a tack. And again, you're eliminating the possibility of reworking, denibbing, polish work. I'd rather spend the 5 minutes on a good tack rather than an hour on a spot repair or sanding and denibbing. Again, into the paper, so we're all clean. Okay, so now we're ready for paint. So we mix the 858, as you say, 312. We've selected our activation, which is the speed of dry. We're using PPS in this case, and it's always good practice to filter paint materials in. However, these 125 micron PPS are quite good actually. Most of the cone filters are 190 microns. So these should actually capture everything that you need. So it's a simple pour in. Compress. Now, as far as the guns today, I'm using a compliant gun, as you see here. We've got the 3M attachment. This one is digital. What does that mean? Well, rather than have an air gauge at the base, it's actually within the handle, very compact. So it's a simple clip-on and twist, and there we have it. So that's our PPS system. What I'll do is adjust the gun accordingly, which is the air pressure here, fluid and density ratio. This is your fan compression, just to get the right wetness that we're looking for. Again, on this or any wet material, we supply wet paint, and wet paint is applied wet. So it would be better not to put a tack coat down or an extremely light coat of paint down, because the second and third coat, if there is 3, they will always follow the first layer. So the first layer will be wet, it will be a flow coat, but it will also be controlled. No runs, no sags, a perfect close film coat. So we have the first coat on our workpiece, airplane. You can see these grey and black stickers, Lunetta cards. It's almost hiding, so it's telling me this is a 2-coat color, assuming a common color background. The primer underneath, as you observed, is a neutral, so any color covers it real well. So how did I do this? Well, as you can see, I'm using a compliant gun. The way I adjusted this, if you look at the air cap, it gives a PSI, an optimum PSI Always use the privilege of the cap slightly over. You can certainly do that. This is running at 30 psi on the gauge with compression. This is full fan, and it's a 1.3 needle in here. So full fan, slight compression, 30 psi, one coat of paint, one 50-50 pass. As far as the flow and leveling, you look at material, it's very thin in actual thickness, but the profile is flat, it's flowing out, it's flashing off. What we will do with this material is the traditional trick, which is touching the material. If it doesn't transfer, that's still not in flash. If it's sticky but doesn't transfer to the glove, that means you can apply a second coat of material with the same batch of material, with the same mix, providing you're in the pot life of this material, which is around 4 hours. So as you can see, the first coat is on. We've achieved flash, which is sticky but no transfer to the glove, so it's ready. The time of flash off will vary between the activator chosen, the blend of activators, or indeed the environmental conditions. So what we're going to do now is, as you can see, we've got the DOI, we've got the gloss, we're nearly hiding. This indicates a two-coat color in this case, and we're going to apply the color in identical way as the first coat. DFTs around 3 mils, something of that nature. So here goes, second coat, and then we'll review the results. We now have a dry 858. It's been baked in this case. We're going to spray bake. Alternatively, this will cold cure. So this material is now dry. As you can see, it's full gloss. Leave it as is. You do not need to base coat this. The privilege of this material is that you now have 3 days to determine if you need to clear, if you want to clear, or you can start the livery designs without the clear. So this hybrid system offers other possibilities of repaint. Either split base with the clear, leave the majority of the aircraft in single stage. Clear this if you wish, if it needs to be a full base coat system. If it needs to be a full base coat system and you're over the 3 days, this will sand indeed like conventional single stage or conventional clear coat, but it eliminates a step. Happy painting.